Rolex, the most secretive business in the world. In the world of luxury watches, one name towers above all others: Rolex. The brand represents not just precision, craftsmanship, and heritage, but also an aura of mystique. While many luxury brands embrace the spotlight, Rolex has carefully chosen to remain in the shadows. For decades, the company has remained one of the most secretive businesses in the world, and that secrecy has become a key part of its allure. In this video, we explore how Rolex's commitment to privacy has shaped its success, its culture, and its impact on the watchmaking industry. We will delve into the company's history, its culture of secrecy, and how this has made it the most coveted name in luxury watches. The history of Rolex, a legacy of privacy. Rolex was founded in 1905 by Hans Wilsdorf, a German entrepreneur with the aim of creating the world's most accurate wristwatches. The company made its name with innovations such as the first waterproof wristwatch, the Oyster, in 1926, and the self-winding perpetual movement in 1931. Even in its early days, Wilsdorf was committed to protecting Rolex's intellectual property and business practices. In 1920, he transferred ownership of the company to a charitable trust, the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, which ensured that Rolex would remain independent and free from external pressures like shareholders or public scrutiny. This decision laid the foundation for the company's ongoing secrecy. The culture of secrecy. Rolex's commitment to privacy is reflected in its corporate culture. Unlike many companies eager to share their vision, Rolex operates behind closed doors. The company rarely grants interviews, and any statements from executives are tightly controlled. This lack of transparency creates an aura of exclusivity. Rolex releases new models without flashy advertising or elaborate press events. Instead, the company lets its watches speak for themselves. This minimalist approach to marketing only strengthens Rolex's image as a brand that doesn't need to prove its value. Its products do the talking. Rolex's secrecy extends to its manufacturing process, where production methods, materials, and techniques remain closely guarded. Even dedicated collectors and watch enthusiasts are left wondering how much of the brand's appeal comes from its legendary craftsmanship and how much comes from the mystique surrounding its operations. Rolex deliberately restricts supply to create scarcity, with models often having waiting lists that can extend for months or even years. This intentional limitation on availability enhances the exclusivity of its timepieces, making them even more desirable. The role of the Rolex Foundation. The secrecy surrounding Rolex is also tied to its unique ownership structure. The company is owned by the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, which reinvests the company's profits into charitable causes. This structure means that Rolex does not have to answer to shareholders or Wall Street analysts, giving it the freedom to focus on long-term vision and craftsmanship rather than short-term profits. By remaining independent, Rolex ensures that its brand and business practices are not influenced by outside forces. The foundation's charitable focus allows Rolex to operate without the pressure of public scrutiny, further enhancing its mystique and reinforcing its commitment to quality and privacy. Rolex and the power of perception. One of the most interesting aspects of Rolex's secrecy is how it has allowed the company to shape its own image. While other luxury brands use high-profile endorsements, advertising campaigns, and press releases to establish their identities, Rolex has done the opposite. Instead of aggressively marketing itself, Rolex relies on the timeless value of its products and the image of exclusivity that comes with scarcity. Rolex is synonymous with success, achievement, and luxury. The brand's quiet presence at events like Wimbledon, the Daytona 500, and the Oscars reinforces its association with prestige without ever overshadowing the product. Rolex has carefully curated a brand image tied to exploration and adventure as well, with adventurers like Sir Edmund Hillary wearing the brand during his historic 1953 ascent of Mount Everest. Yet, Rolex has never capitalized heavily on these partnerships. They are part of the brand's narrative, but never the central focus. The Rolex Submariner, a case study in secrecy. Take the iconic Rolex Submariner as an example. Introduced in 1953, the Submariner is one of the most famous dive watches in the world. Yet, even though the model is incredibly popular, many of the details behind its design and development remain shrouded in secrecy. Rolex is known for its impeccable movements. But the company has always been tight-lipped about the specifics of how its watches are made. While experts can speculate about the technical features of the Submariner, Rolex provides minimal public information about its inner workings. This adds to the mystique and reinforces the idea that the brand is about more than just the sum of its parts. It's about the legacy, the craftsmanship, and the stories behind the brand. The cult of Rolex. Why secrecy works. Rolex's secrecy has created a cult-like following. In a world where other luxury brands rely on aggressive marketing strategies, Rolex has built its reputation through a deliberate lack of exposure. The company's decision to operate in the shadows has fostered a sense of exclusivity and scarcity, which in turn drives demand. The scarcity effect is powerful. The more elusive something is, the more people desire it. Rolex watches, particularly rare vintage models, have become highly sought-after collector's items, often fetching astronomical prices at auctions. The secrecy surrounding the company adds to the mystique, making owning a Rolex feel like possessing a piece of history, something that few people can access. The future of Rolex. Looking ahead, it's difficult to imagine Rolex shifting its approach. The company's commitment to secrecy has not only preserved its reputation but also ensured that it remains one of the most influential and successful luxury brands in the world. Its unique structure, focus on quality, and dedication to craftsmanship will likely continue to define the brand for years to come. Rolex's ability to cultivate an aura of exclusivity and mystery has cemented its place at the top of the luxury watch market. Its brand is not built on transparency, but on the quiet excellence of its products and the narrative that surrounds them. And that is what makes Rolex the most secretive and perhaps the most successful business in the world. Conclusion. Rolex is not just a watchmaker, it is a symbol of timeless luxury, craftsmanship, and exclusivity. The company's carefully constructed air of secrecy has been a key factor in its success, reinforcing the desirability of its products and the prestige associated with owning one. While many luxury brands chase attention, Rolex has thrived by remaining an enigma, letting its watches and the stories surrounding them do the talking. In a world where transparency is often valued, Rolex has mastered the art of mystery, making it the most secretive business in the world. Let me know in the comments which brand you want to see next.